We are looking at introduction to HTML. Okay, my name is Samuel Oluwasegun, and you can chat me up on Facebook, on WhatsApp, and on Telegram as well. So we are looking at introduction to HTML. So as my material, and maybe we might not use it next time, but for now, HTML. What is HTML? Is an hypertext markup language. Okay, we've looked into that in our previous classes and class. The syntax, the code. Okay, one of the things the syntax is called tag. One thing you will see in HTML again is the start and the finish. So there is always a and also close. Not every tag that has an close tag. Unlike this one here, it's just this is to declare the version of HTML you are using, and also you can down. You see HTML open tag and the HTML close tag down there. So now inside HTML open tag and close tag, we mostly and always we have. So if you look at that, you see the closing of the edge, and if you look at the body, you see the closing of the body. To happen to the body, that is what goes through the edge. So like the links, the files you want to include in your web page, you might want to include some files. The cascading style sheet. Okay, I had that with my students last time we had class. Make sure you should understand this environment. So the body, you realize that we have my first heading. This application, that's the W3 school. I'm not here to advertise that, but notwithstanding, since I'm using it, so I used to give it to some of my students. So I will give you a link whereby you can download it. Just chat me up. I will make provision for that. So now, in the head, I think we have title. And right now, we don't have that title here. It's not showing. Look at what is showing. My first heading and my first paragraph is what is coming up here, as you can see. So now to tell you that whatever goes into the head doesn't show, and whatever goes into the body, that's what we want to see. That's where everything we are trying to code, you display. So now let's come down. So I told you that version of HTML we are trying to talk about recently. This is it. So doc type HTML. That is the latest version of HTML right now. We have version 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right now we are dealing with version 5 of the HTML. Look at it right there. So that's the version 5 of the HTML. I'm just paraphrasing this because mostly I believe in practical, and notwithstanding, we will still touch some other parts that are necessary for us to know. This is the tag. Content goes there. This is the tag, and you say this is how the tags normally looks like. That the opening tag and the close tag. I want us to go into a little of the coding because there is something we mostly don't understand when it comes to starting. When we have to start coding, when you have to start putting in our syntax into one of the things, number one thing you need, let's go into our editor. You need, there are some things you need for you to start coding. You need either an editor that's either Notepad++, uh, Visual Studio Code, which is the one I'm using there. I also have Notepad++, Notepad, Notepad++. This is it here. Okay, I have Notepad++, I have Visual Studio Code. I've used so many other editors like that. We have PHP Storm. I also have it there. PHP Storm. Sorry. PHP Storm. I also have PHP Storm here. So PHP Storm, what is the, why do we have a PHP Storm? PHP Storm comprises everything about PHP. So either you are writing PHP in a framework, or you are just doing it normal, like basically without the framework. PHP Storm is capable of that. It has every extension in it. So uh, that's that. So I started when I start coding, I start with HTML plus Notepad++. So later I venture into uh, what's it called, Visual Studio Code, and later at my place of work I use what's it called, PHP Storm. So that's not what we are here to deal with today. So I'm just trying to tell us what probably we need here. Some of us, when it comes to you previewing your work, sometimes, okay, my student last time, when we were uh, having a create a web page and he didn't see his picture, so there is what I've been at least at some point. How do let's okay before we go into that, let's do it this way. Let's start creating all these things. Number one thing you need, have a whereby you store all your files. Because if you don't create a place where you can store all your folders, you might not be able to preview well, or you might be having some challenges with your code. Okay, let's go into the folder stuff. Okay. Uh, sorry. You can use what's it called? Window E to bring out Explorer. Window E. Window plus E. So you can use it to bring out your Explorer and go to your document. Okay. Go to your document and create your own folder. I will call this class MostMerit. MostMerit software class. So inside the MostMerit software class, I will create another class, another folder again. I will call the class today's date. That's 9/9/3/2023. So 9/3/2023. So I will start putting all my files inside this folder. But one thing I will do, I want to link this folder with my editor. So I will copy the address here and go to my editor here and tell my editor that I want to open, okay, I want to open a folder. Sorry, excuse me, I want to see if I'm actually going to open a file. Okay, no, I want to open folder. I'm not opening a file. So now, selected the folder to work with. So now, what comes next is that I'll start creating my files here. So it's trying to ask us if we actually trust what we are doing. So just for their own safety as well. So you start creating your file. And the last time we had a class, I explained this that whenever you want to start a class, whenever you want to start your web coding, number one thing you should understand is that there is always an index. This index is what we point to in our files. Whenever you upload your file to the server, and you want the file to be easily opened. So what the server understands is the index. That's not the number one. Index means number one. So whenever you can have index.any extension as long as it's web recognized. So all you just need to do is to put the index.html. So I've created this now, index.html. Okay, now we want to put our doc type. So these are the benefit of what's it called? Visual Studio Code. So with the help of some extension which I've installed so far, some extensions so far. So that's why I could easily type. It's giving me auto finish of some of the code at which I'm putting in. So if I come here now, if I type HTML, it's giving me what to use to finish it. So now from the body, so now title. So now I can put my title, my first web page. So that's that, and that's for the head. So we go for the body. Say sorry. So now I just create a web what's it called, interface now, but we are not done yet. So there's something we come across over there when going through that script. We want to give some H1. We still come to this H1, and this is in the process of time we will get there. But basically, what we are trying to give us today now, H1. Okay, let's say hello, MostMerit. So that's for the paragraph heading, and for the paragraph we put P. We are here working. So I know some of you might have learned this, and you know what it is actually. So just take your time. I'm taking you back to basics. So now after you've created all these things, the file you just worked on, created here, look at it. Let's check it. This is the date at which we input the other time, and this is the file we just create in it. That's index.html. If you come back to this folder here, we realize that we have the same date and we have the index. So what you just need to do is showing this. You can open it with any browser. It will open. I want to open it with MostMerit. We are here working. So that's that. With this little explanation I did now, you will be able to understand how to navigate through files and how to get your way through it. How to create your file, how to call in your file. Some of us, there is sometimes when we even want to call an image, we make some mistake, but we've not gotten there. We still get there very soon. So now, I think you understand that file route. Okay, so let's look at the structure. There's something I actually want to show us. So how you can save it, I've shown you how you can save. view the HTML. I've showed you how you can view your HTML, how you can view your work. Okay, I want to go back to this introduction. There is something you need to understand when it comes to web. Okay, look at this structure, HTML page structure. There's a way it's being structured. So if you understand this, to actually make it any code and make it yours will be very, very simple. So look at this environment now. Whereby we have the HTML the start and the HTML the finish. Here we have the body. We have the body here. Sorry, the head. And look at what we have within the head. That's the title. Now, the file we created the other time, look at this. Look at the title here. Look at the title. It said my first web page. That is where the title normally shows up. So it doesn't show within the web page. So that's that. And I've told us about the versions. That's if I give you this file, you will actually go through it yourself, and you'll be able to see some other things. I'll give you a link, and you can also download it online. You can download it online. HTML basis samples. We have so we've talked about the head in the test. So now let's go back to the test format. What I told you the other time. That test format whereby we will use H1, we use H1 and H1 there. So you can use H1 to H3. Let me just copy this test to save our time. So you can actually use H1. Always is what makes your code look professional, because if you have to work with organizations and you want to code in your own rough way, your code might not easily be readable. So you have to look at this pattern at which I'm coding now and be able to arrange your code proper. Arrange your code. Because I just pass into the file now. Let's preview it. So you have to save. I've saved it and I want to preview the file. Okay. When you refresh, to bring this is heading 1, this is heading 2, this is heading 3. So the higher the number, the lower, the smaller the text. The highest at which we have this is H. Okay. Paragraph, that is the P. So inside your paragraph, you can format it to do anything. Your paragraph look like your what's it called? Your H1. So now let's okay. I think we code paragraph here the other time. That's this it. This P to this P. So the reason why we make this class so basic is that so that anyone who is learning web for the first time will be able to understand what it is and how to go about web coding, how to start, how not to make mistake, and how to if you watch this, you will perfectly and purely understand how to start your code, how to go about it. So I think with the little explanation I've done right now, you should have been able to catch up some things on how to start your own personal web page. Okay, so let's do that. So now we've talked about the paragraph, and now let's go back. Let's go into link. And before we go into okay, let's go into links. That's you putting a link in your page. You can actually pass a link that will take you to another page. Let's take, for instance, you have another file within your folder. You create another file. Let's say this is a form, form.html, form.html, and you create little form. Let's say uh, form method. Okay, so now you put your input value, value, my name, and what's it called? Input value and my name and a name here. This one, this is what your server will understand, that name. So you can just put name here. So you close it. Another thing is you want to put button to submit. Button to submit. And after the submission, you want to give it a name as well so that the server cannot. So just can give it post. So that's that. Now, how do we get to this page? That's one of the things we want to look into. How do we get to this page? Uh, how do we get to this page? So from here, equals to form.html. And you will now say, you can give it a name, create form. So as I'm saying this, some of these things we might still come across it again, but I won't be going through it just like this for you again. We would have found some of these things I'm showing you right now. Because these are the bases and we still have a refresh form. So create form now. You click on this link, it take you somewhere. Now look at this. It's showing you that you should input something. It's showing you a form with a button. A form with a button. So when you put your name, you have to delete what was there previously and put something new. That's somewhere shared. So you post it. It's not gonna go. It's not gonna go anywhere. Now, what you just sent now, this is where it's hanging. Look at Samuel and Shegun right here. They've been submitted. So and look at this submit button. It's still hanging there as well. So until you do the finishing on your server side. So by the time we get to that point, we cross it. So now look at this form now. I'm just trying to relate you with how we link get here, how we leave this page and go to another page. And you can also do it this way. You can also open it in another place. Look at it here. It's open. So now there's another thing I want to learn you now. How to create a folder inside the folder. So and how to link your file into it again. So we call this, let's call it this next step. Next step file. Let me just give the next step. Okay, this is a folder. Now let's review it from here so that we can know what's happening. Look at the folder from here. Look at the form and look at the index. So now, one thing we want to do is we want to move this form inside the next step folder so that we can. So it's not in the same folder with your index again. I'm trying to show us this so that I might not have to repeat this same issue again, this same thing again. I will not go through this again. So now, if you go back to your browser to refresh, this form is still there, but if you click on it, it's taking you nowhere. It's telling you file not found. Firefox can't find the file you are looking for. Why? Because we've not referenced the file. We've not referenced the folder at which we save our file, at which the file is moved to. So you need to reference the file. And how do we do that? Just call the nested file. I want you to see the way I code it, the way I did it. I want you to see it. Nested slash form. So that's how you. Now, with this now, if you save it, go back to your browser. Go back to your browser. Go back here, refresh, and click on form. Can you see? It's bringing us to where the file is. So you must be able to reference the file, the folder at which you posted your files, and be able to. Just the same thing goes to your image, because sometimes we make a mistake putting getting an image from somewhere, and we want the browser to show that image. You must copy your image inside the folder you are working, or you reference the file is to copy that image and keep it in the same file. So by the time you are referencing it, you can also create a file for a folder for it, just the way I created a folder for my form. So, and I reference it just exactly the way I did it now. But the link won't be the same again. Let's link an image. I want us to link an image. Pardon me. Let me find a place to download an image online. Let me download an image online. I don't have an image downloaded before. Last image. So last image. I love this. And I want to download it. Save image. So my image is saved into download. So now, what do? I go into my download, and this is the image I just download right now. So I copy it. I can even drag it and drag it here. So it has been copied. But I want to change the name. I don't like that name. It's too long. So you can change the name. Just give it class. So now we want to call this class from our web page. So from our web page. Pardon me, I will delete this. Okay. So let's look at img equals to what's the file name? That's class dot jpg. Browser. There's two more attribute values to add to this. You can call your alt alternative. You can call it class image. So class image. So you just create an alternative. So now let's go back here and check. Let's preview it. Can you see? The image is coming. The image is coming. Let's say, for instance, let's do some things again. Because one of the mistakes we make is when we want to have our image on our web page and we realize that they are not forthcoming. Some of the mistakes we make is maybe when the image is in another file. Let me create a folder and call the folder img. And I will move my image into img here. Okay, so I will move it into img, and now let's preview this page again and see what it will give us. It's not going to show the image. Why? Because it's not well referenced. So that's one. I'm just trying to make us see some of the mistakes we do. And then we begin to create files and move files. So okay, let's put the image img splash. That is just the simple trick here. That's a simple trick. So, but before we go further, look at the way we look at our HTML, our image tag, and look at the link tag. You can see they are different from each other, totally different. And the way we reference our image is different from the way we reference our links. So, image use src, whereby links use href. So, and in our image, so in our image, look at this. We give it class image, and when the class, the reason why the class image we show is because you don't have the image there again. So something should represent the image. Why, if the image is not available? So that is the text alternative alt. So now, but now that we've referenced the image, let's refresh our page. It's coming again because we just referenced that image we put recently. So I think, and another last thing I want to do is this form. We can also call this the image from this form as well. You can call the image from this form. Let's do it in a normal way that you would have done it. The normal way that you would have done it. Let's say you want to call the image img src equals to this is the image. Okay, you know the image as class.jpg. Okay. Now you just you put the out equals to class image. So now let's go into our form and check. Now let's click on this form button. The image is not coming, but something is coming from the image. That's the class image. But we've not referenced where the form is. Now let's now say, okay, we know the form, what's it called? The image, the folder name, which is img slash. Let's see if it will show. So I just want to be practical and extreme practical in this. If it will show, but it's not still showing. Why? Because the file is not well referenced. Now look at this very well. Look at this. Realize that this form is in a particular folder called nested, and this image is in a particular called img. So now you want to go out of nested and come into img to call an image. You have to first dash out your nested folder before you can pick image folder. So how do you that move out of a nested folder? Is you put this a simple code, this dot slash. It will take you out of this nested folder and now call the img. I want you to pay attention to this dot slash img. Look at this. So now, after you've done that, let's go and preview our file. Let's preview it. So it seems we didn't save it, did we? Okay. Not forthcoming. Are we missing something? img plus jpg. Okay, sorry, we made a mistake. There's a mistake we made. That's instead of G, we put B. That's G. Now, let's go back into our file. Let's preview it. Now it's showing. So it's showing because we correct our code and we reference it appropriately. Look at the form down there. Look at the post button. And also, let's come back here into the main page. Look at it. The whole thing is showing proper. So with little things, I think uh, you would have gotten some little things. I want us to share this material, this tutorial, and also you can reference to some people who might need it. So if you need our what's it called, counsel, want us to, or you want to consult us for a proper class that take you more deep down, you can also meet us. Thank you for coming tonight. And some of my students are also young this class. So and the class is recorded so that you all can benefit from it. A little thing, let me look at the time if I can actually put in a little thing now. The last thing that we want us to learn, last thing here is the extension. Look at this image. Look at this image. JPG. Let's come here. Look at this F1 HTML dot HTML something does something. Even when you go online, the website .org .this, all these things are extension to distinguish location of files you are going to. So you can I'll just give you this that to check what file extension is and how to differentiate files from files through extensions. So that's that. For video now, you have mp4 mp4. For audio, we have mp3. We have wave. For website, we have html com sometimes you receive php. If the developer didn't hide some of their links, see some of those things because so these are the extensions that differentiate the files you are working with. So thank you very much. I remain MostMerit World Link, and my name is Samuel Shegun Ajayi. So you can just follow me to learn more things. Thank you. I will end this class for now. So you can have a good and wonderful night rest. Thank you very much.